Greetings, family. Before we go on a trip, we take time to plan first, right? We don't want any surprises unless they're good ones that complement our travels. When we choose where we're going, we gather information that we can refer to as data. And this data is inputted into our brain. Next, if we feel the will to go, it makes us feel excited about the trip. The spirit of excitement moves us to plan further. That plan may include finding the best mode of transportation to the destination, finding out what our length of stay can be, or gathering the data we need to add up the cost to determine if we think it's worth it. Now, this is what occurs in the third dimension. Traveling to parallel existences are also planned from the fourth dimension, where our thoughts and desires and intentions are. And it may go a little bit like this. Say we want to visit a higher version of Terra's multidimensional existence. Perhaps we've heard about its spiritual attributes and saw a glimpse of its beauty in a dreamlike state where the kinfolk that look like us already live. We are intrigued enough to begin to consider the cost of visiting there again. Now, we can't get there using third dimensional money. We have to travel by way of energy. We remember from cosmic science, cube cosmology, that we can use mind, will, and spirit. These are the same components as we use in the 3D. But if there's no will to take this trip because we write it off as just a dream, or we attempt to apply third dimensional reasoning for higher dimensions, then the data means nothing and the spirit won't be moved. However, if there is will, how much energy are we willing to invest into making it happen? The investment includes three things: cleaning up the old beliefs and backstories that obstruct the will, acknowledge the need of our innate nature as humans to transcend, and to expand our vision with the aid of knowledge. Everything that exists is a projection of mind. All that we see outside of ourselves was once a thought. Feelings of curiosity and discovery inspired their spirit to the point that it caused the will to go into motion. Without the will, nothing gets done. And this is the reason why the enemy is always attacking our mind. The mind affects the spirit, which affects our will. We do have free will to either align with divine will or to continue pursuing our own will. Now, pursuing our own personal will usually is driven by fear of lack. We are chasing after something to make sure that we have enough. Our mind is usually preoccupied with finding a reliable soulmate. It's also filled with chasing the bag, being on the hustle. There are also self-created impediments that obstruct the will. We can say that personal will tends to obstruct the focus of divine will. According to the Book of Transcendence of the Cosmic History Chronicles, transcendence is innate to our nature. Things must change, or we'll get bored. To break the monotony in the third dimension, we may go to work a different way, cook something that we usually don't eat, or try another hairstyle. But how do we strive for elevation, for higher realms? We have to exercise the power of will. So when boredom sets in, we can either enter portals into higher awareness or allow idleness, which is the devil's workshop, to creep in and steer us further away from the safety of our inner world. To transcend means to work on our shadow self. That'll cut out the boredom. The less we have roadblocks of conditioned minds and faulty beliefs and fears, the better we can transcend. Now, the hollow mind perceiver is a hypersense organ of transcendence, in which we will review later in this segment. Our perceptions and ways of thinking fluctuate. We change our minds. Our attention span is pulled in all directions, so it's hard to get a clear vision when we haven't locked in on the frequency that favors our goals. And this causes us to repeat, recycle, and rerun the same thought forms and perceptions, which leaves our vision in the same place, if we even remember what it was. As we prepare to expand our vision, it's going to take remembrance, knowledge, patience. Unfortunately, we've grown used to having everything that happened like yesterday. Our awareness has to be refined or we may miss the shift. The shift may start out as a small nuance, like our keys are not in the same place that we habitually put them. The building that was once a landmark is suddenly gone, and you saw no prior construction crew taking it down piecemeal. Something like that. When this happens, that is not the time to use third dimensional reasoning. It's the time to expand and accept the vision into the parallel existences. Today is Can 168, the yellow crystal star, with the power of elegance, action to beautify the essence of art. And we're seeing where the matrices of time, space, and synchronicity are in regards to our will, transcendence, and expanded vision. Time, V17H6. We remember that time is a universal factor of synchronization, and those factors can vary according to our decree. And here, time's location is in the second time dimension, fourth mental sphere, on the ESP input unit of beta alpha. Now, ESP, that stands for extrasensory perception. ESPN means that we are receiving that on this particular plasma. Now, the duties of the channel beta alpha is cosmic ascension, which is the force field of higher mind control, and it's also continuing consciousness as for the mental sphere. So beta alpha channel connects with the subliminal impulses that's coming from the sixth dimension, the pink area. So when we say impulses, we're talking the impulses of telepathy, precognition, gnosis, or anything perceived by means other than the known senses of touch, taste, smell, sound, and vision. Now, time is receiving big help from ESPN because it's being informed by the 13th magnitude of the fifth force coordinating circuit. That's the green area, which we see as sublimating. Now remember, the fifth dimension, fifth force, superconscious, it either activates or sublimates before we transfer that magnitude signal to the radio sense core, to our touch, taste, smell, sound, and vision. We want to transfer so that we can be affected by this information. So that means we have to engage this, right, in our senses. In this case, the signal is of cosmic presence. We say cosmic because that's the essence of the 13th tone, presence. Now, it is an inward action that's happening because time is of the mind. So we have higher mind control here and presence for will, transcendence, and expanded vision. Space, V4H18. Space is an infinitely locatable point. Space can be inward, it can be external or mental. Here, the location of our space is on the interdimensional master unit of cosmic synchronization's radio sense matrix. That's the number 39 there, which is responsible for coordinating our 5 external senses in the third time dimension: touch, taste, smell, sound, and vision. Here's where we can engage our senses on a higher level. For instance, if we want to know what it's like to exist on Sirius or Andromeda or in the Golden Galaxy, what we're going to do is universalize. That is the action of the crystal tone. So what we do now is take our external organs and take them into a consciousness mode, action organ mode, or objects of taste, touch, something to get you started in your infinitely locatable space. Because our space has the power of our senses on this plasma, we can play with it etherically, mentally, or all the above. Synchronicity, V13H8. And we know that synchronicity is the operation of a higher moving template of mathematical order that coordinates all phenomena telepathically. So we see it here, the location is in the 9th time dimension, 7th mental sphere. It is on the 13th magnitude in the 9th time dimension. Now COM is the hyperparton cell, heat of inner light, from external hyperplasmic space flow. In this case of inner time, and we say inner time, we're talking about the middle area there in beta alpha channel. We say beta alpha because this is the area. We have the supplementing beta alpha and the activating beta alpha. The heat of inner light operates as a magnet. It either attracts or repulses electric charges. Now the generators, which are up at top here, they don't control the 13th magnitude. Notice that the 9th time dimension, there are no supplementing or activating magnitudes. Instead, COM is magnetizing synchronicity so that it becomes neutralized by Sirius B force field here. We no longer need beta alpha to marinate our higher mind and continuing consciousness, because will, transcendence, and expanded vision has already gone through the 4th time dimension, 5th time dimension, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and is being synced in the 9th time dimension, where synchronicity is neutralized and enlightened with spiritual knowledge and insight by Sirius B52 force field. Peace to the gods.